Na.
Mbona talanga na maso.
Ay kada marso.
Ade paso.
Ayo. Do ni mutu.
Musa bari ata sila de.
Keme fulani sila munen.
Tulo bantale mano banda.
Bari man sene so fonde ni mano bande sa fonje.
Kilo le bota.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam ba.
Bare.
Ko do ki yana ne yuna ya moy.
Min to yona.
Matunga matambe. Adoni miniamba saba e kolondero saba miniamba.
Mansara. Itu unna Yaja.
Yelo nada.
Ngamano sammanang ngatulo samman. Bismillah.
Na.
Na nyumanu dia ko.
Yalla ni mano wara demen. Jona biro ngayin tawlet. Ngata ko do kama demen. Man façon fula wala beje. Kilo talul tabeje, kilo monni lul tabeje. Hani duli no beje. Ni tale ko do kama. Ni def ko do les ko do ta inaita. Na dia te fone si mano le sanjani tulol ni hani nyi fongoñi alkawme to abul kawme fokan diringle ni lemnato. Ngabo ndeje.
Yuna la kanyul be samana.
Itu la kanyul be samana. Yaja.
When we touch down, better broke down.
Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's so she became mine and see the.
Na.
Mbona talanga na maso.
Ay kada marso.
Ade paso.
Ayo. Do ni mutu.
Ata sila de.
Keme fulani sila munen.
Tulo bantale mano banda.
Bari man sene so fonde ni mano bande sa fonje.
Kilo le bota.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam ba.
Bare.
Ko do ki yana ne yuna ya moy.
Min to yona.
Matunga matambe. Adoni miniamba saba e kolondero saba miniamba.
Mansara. Itu unna Yaja.
Yelo nada.
Ngamano sammanang ngatulo samman. Bismillah.
Na.
Na nyumanu dia ko.
Yalla ni mano wara demen. Jona biro ngayin tawlet. Ngata ko do kama demen. Man façon fula wala beje. Kilo talul tabeje, kilo monni lul tabeje. Hani duli no beje. Ni tale ko do kama. Ni def ko do les ko do ta inaita. Na dia te fone si mano le sanjani tulol ni hani nyi fongoñi alkawme to abul kawme fokan diringle ni lemnato. Ngabo ndeje.
Yuna la kanyul be samana.
Itu la kanyul be samana. Yaja.
noo lañ def ñoo ñëw ak yéen rek skincare plus nar a jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5-star jesna la 5-star jesna mooy jesna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la we not all about skin we are skin care and the plus does come in so many different ways.
No, ini barang. Alright, okay. Welcome. Basically, lots of Lala Mialonko is cool, man, that I can really relax. What the madam? Yeah, what the madam? Yeah. Let them do somebody. That's right. Grand Villa. Grand Villa. That's fine. Slowly. Yes. No. Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone very relaxed. So it's okay to get out of the screen. It's very Nidia, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia. Beji and the Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungul bebe senyaring adu na bungul bebe nyarandiring coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wala mukawati intel kam na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta Oh man, this is like a paradise. I know. I so much love this place. Yeah, thank you. Trust me, I love this place. You can move someone and you're watching what? Yeah. Having done and know what Gambia Grand Villa. I tell you. I love this place. Okay. I love this place, man. Oh yeah. Ni lefta na kuo keso sotola futama Oljintun Paradise Estate mbaya kumandiroke 7527218 wale futana website oto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Busubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
domoro kadiyata
boy janno sikes restaurant
e sa nakko be ninna dimbal nimbe domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendil lo dunia kono domoro betama nyillom international o toda number 1
amanke ba domoro jandama
e sa domo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa nakko sa futandin
e oto sa nakko be mu sikes restaurant
ndafa na janna mu yat ni manje dorom bijam
aban
Sikes Restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda min ba Europe Mr. Conte nka bo wol kol kan sai na so ko na mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai ka bol kol kan anda ka ba official ko na ba dama bulo mutarin ba ka ta funtilano ko mbatu ngane ta ya kuriyen ma ko do banta na ta mano sani tulo ni jam mun da be tan la broda man balwo service kalam mun service balwo service ni da foronte mo kalam mun da a fela broda ko abitala internet ol aya ba site la woldo balwo.com na wo sajje a apu nga ba download la telephone ol na be sandiro to ni wal na be sidin ala office ko ndama manjar pour ay ta bank ko kodoki abe sidin office ko no daminto ito message so yo telephone ko no e bitiko be Gambia dawda bitiko ba belo ko ta tano dawda yeta fempo tawo wodama yara bari wo service na ta mo da han na ta nyole be kan fi janna bro dan ka ko ta nyole ko ayo ko fi jahan
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kolaya ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale do mor feŋol sang alla dimbaya mole ana lakkanun tewol wato bela ani wat sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu e be banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko ku ko ton suro balwo service la kolto ali commandi telephone la no la milbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kolu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
Hello and welcome to the Brunch on Kerfatu. This week I'm Lamin Cham, welcoming you all to our weekly look at major events in the Gambia as well as analysis of those events. Right, today I have in the studio Mr. Joseph Colley. He is the Director of Training and Communications at the Independent Electoral Commission, and also with me is Dodou Jah, who is both the Deputy Spokesman for the APRC as well as a member of the Inter-Parties Committee. Now, in this program, we're going to look more at our election house, the programs, processes, reforms, and other activities that the IEC is coming to embark on in the lead up to the 2021 elections, as well as the much talk about and expected referendum on the new constitution, among other things. Mr. Joe Colley, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Lamin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Good. And if you over there too have some questions to ask Mr. Colley or Mr. Jah on these topics that we are discussing, you can use your comment box to ask those questions, and I'm sure we will have time to read a few of them to the panelists here. So, gentlemen, once again, welcome. Let's start off, Joe. This is 2020. According to our calendar, our constitutional calendar, we're going to have elections in 2021. But before we get there, of course, we have seen a lot of changes and new things in our body politics, and since you are the referee, there are questions that have come and concerns, and we want to use this 1 hour or 45 minutes to do as much as possible to enlighten stakeholders, as well as well, when you say election stakeholders, you talk about a lot of things, not just the parties but the supporters. Let's start with the proliferation of new political parties. How many do you have now? And which ones are they, and how do you go about registering? We talk about that first.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Cham. As of now, we have 14 political parties.
14, that's the new ones plus the existing ones?
Yeah, new one plus the... For a long time, we had 9, and then GAP came in, Gambia Action Party. Then after so in a space of about 2-3 months, we had four new parties, from spanning from November 29th, to January 6th,
And which are those? Citizen Alliance?
Yeah, we have Citizen Alliance, we have NPP, National People's Party, we have Gambia for All, and then we have All People's Party. Yeah, so as we're speaking, we have about 3 or 4 lined up.
3 more parties are lined up.
3 or 4 lined up.
You mean
no, those ones have
started the process?
Yeah, they have already submitted. So we're vetting. In fact, some of them is just a question of coming to pay the 1 million now. So we are almost at the tail end. Some, we have started because for the formation of a political party, what happens is like the group or individuals, write a letter of intent requesting for information or dossier. So we respond, the commission responds by sending them the dossier of the formation of political parties. Now, of course, is Section 60 of the Constitution that deals with the formation of political parties. But, the nitty-gritties of how to go about it is in Elections Act 105. Yeah, with some amendments in 2015. I'll come to that because, like, you have a registration form wherein you give us details about your party, your executive, and your color, symbol, addresses, and things like that. Your executive, and then give us, not everybody, but at least give us a clue of who your executive members are, and then your constitution, then color, symbol, and then of course your party sponsorship.
Okay.
Yeah, so about 10,000 people. So if you give us those things, because that's where normally that's where the challenge is, because people think that we are just sleeping at the election house.
Yes.
Because if you give us those 10,000, what we do is we go into the system, we look at each and every one of them, and see, because like sometimes people want to beat the system in such a way that, like, our registers are, knows what I'm trying to tell. Our registers are with political parties, and they are with certain candidates, because during elections we give out all these things, from presidential, because even the political parties, some of the political parties have the soft copy. So we have the CD. They have a CD. So what happens is, what happens is, let me come. What happens is, people just go, sometimes they go to a corner, they just copy, like, I just give an example, they just go Colley, copy, because if I see all the Colleys, Cham, or Jaju. So if you come to us and then we look at it, we definitely know that all these Jajus don't live in the same place. So we know. So if you copy, we know exactly that you're copying, and then we call you, and then tell you, because that is why sometimes it takes certain people. In fact, I can remember, like, starting from GDC, coming down. So sometimes it takes about 6 to 6, sometimes 9 months, 6 months, some 3 months, and some people start complaining. What is wrong? I say no. We don't just give you the whole package. What happens is, like, we look at your constitution, we look at your other documents, colors and symbols. If at all it has some semblance, or it has some religious connotation or things like that, because it's clearly stipulated that a political party should not be registered on the basis of tribe, religion, regional or sectarianism and things like that. So we look at all these things. So if we see certain things, we call you, we discuss. We've never sent anybody packing. So we call you, you come back and forth, we discuss until we come to a consensus. Then that's the time that we even give you the account to pay in your So the money is the last. The money is the last.
But all the same, you were 4 million richer in the last 4 months.
Yes,
and
because
that is what the Mandinkas will say, Jalan Siso, whether the oracle has answered or not. That one is gone.
This is a fee, registration fee. So it's different from deposit. With deposit, if you have certain percentage, the money is given back to you. That is why, like, election registration is a fee. So when you say it's fee, registration fee, once you hear a fee, it's not refundable. So that's that. So we do all these things, and then when we are satisfied, we give you an account, you deposit the money, then you bring us the receipt, then we give you the official IEC receipt, and then we register you. We register you, but, like, it's not yet over, because you expected to give us, like, in the 2015 amendment, you have to give us your offices.
Exactly.
In each region you have to. Like when we did.
So people were wondering whether all these parties you've just registered were able to meet this criteria.
Yeah, they were able to meet the criteria. So now, because they have to give us their offices, because it's part of it. And then in 2015, when these amendments came, some people thought that it was too much. We were asking, but we told them, no, you're looking for visibility. For me, it's a plus, for the political parties. You see, like, for instance, if you have membership all over the Gambia, and people don't have to just come to the Greater Banjul if they need maybe your membership cards.
You insist on them having a national character.
Yeah, national character. So that's it. Because if you have a bureau, for instance, not in URR, I just give an example. You want to have your bureau may be in Gambisara. You know, I'm just giving an example. Or you go to Nyamonari, you know, you open your bureau there. You know, at least you avail your people the opportunity of not coming to Banjul, but anything concerning the party, they just, you know, they just have it, you know, because they have a functional bureau. So that's that. And of course, accounts, you know, you have to give us audited accounts, you know, yearly. And then of course this Congress. You know, Congress, you know, it's biennial Congress. You know, it adds up to the internal democracy of the political parties. Because for instance, like, even if we are to select the same person, but at least it is seen that every 2 years, you know, people gather, delegates gather, and then they want the same person again. You understand? Because sometimes, you know, we also have to look at it. You know, political parties, if you are not in government, you are government in waiting. Because you are opposition. So, like, now that, like, in the new constitution, we're talking of term limits. You know, these are things that we can start practicing in our political parties. So that, like, before you come to the national, at least, you know, in your own area, in your own character, at least you say maybe nobody can go after 10 years, you know, or after 15 years to be a political party head. So, you know, there's a difference between the political party leader and then the flag bearer. People have to distinguish these things. You know, I can be a secretary general. In fact, some people, this SG is the party leader, but you have certain parties, it's the chairman who is the party leader. So, you know, they are depending on the constitution, on the structure of the political parties have different, you know, because, like, these are things that we want to promote, you know, internal democracy and national character and things like that. Because if you are a political party, you are not just a political party for, like, Greater Banjul, you know, for the country. So that's why, like, we did all this, and then, like, for now we have 14. Yes, but one is under suspension.
Wow.
Yes, NCP. Yeah, because they had 2 congresses, you know. And of course,
but it's taking you too long now to decide their fate. I think
they have to. You know, the thing is, in the elections act, people talk because the powers. You know, we have the powers to register. But, you know, like, what we want to do, you know, I tell people, like, we did the lesser evil. Because if we had, because obviously the law says if you don't comply with the provisions of the Elections Act, we have the right to register. But we didn't do that. We wanted to give them chance to come together, and then I know they're still negotiating. That's why we just said we suspended. But some of them, it didn't go down well with them. But, you know, we didn't just want to come and deregister them, because it's going to be very difficult for them to come back again.
Especially with that kind of division.
Yeah, the divisions and things. So we still want, we still hope, we still believe that they can come into terms.
But then you must have to draw the red line somewhere.
Yes, we will. Yeah, we will definitely. We will. The other day we were talking, and then we're trying, because right now we into few things. So, but we will come to that. We will come to that. I know if IPC has something, maybe if Dodou comes, they also, because they have this mechanism, you know, dialogue, peace building, and things like that.
Which is where.
So I'm sure they will. Yeah, but if you just give me time, let me just give a rundown of because we're dealing with political parties. I just want to give down, like, the party leaders, their color and symbol.
Okay, that will be important.
Yeah, like APRC, of course, the party leader is Fabakary Tombong Jatta. Jatta.
Why not Yaya Jammeh? But people said it's Yaya Jammeh. Or are you saying that nobody brought his name to you?
Yeah, and right now it's their name, and as the laws are right now, 2015, it states that all the executive members of any political party should be resident.
Okay. So maybe FTJ is warming the chair for Jammeh until when he comes back.
I don't know. So it's resident. So that's one of the amendments in 2015.
And their flag, of course, we know.
Yeah, green, and then the symbol is palm tree with a hoe and paddle, not so.
Yes. Yeah. That's correct, because the other time one party said
and a white dove on top.
Yes.
Oh, a white dove.
Yes.
Yeah. So NRP, of course, is Amat Nkeba. Of course, we know that it's blue.
NRP is blue.
Yeah, and then they have a white cow.
A white cow. Oh, a white cow. Okay, and then
ANM, UDP, ANM.
Have you ever seen a? Okay,
I don't know. It's a cow. Okay. Then party color, of course, golden yellow.
Golden yellow,
and then unity handshake. Everybody knows that.
Exactly.
PDI is Halifa Saleh, brown, sun with 16 rays. As a symbol.
16 rays.
Yes. NCP is suspended, but of course everybody knows that white is
they have
their
that
color.
white and
then they have
that
their
boat.
Yes, they have that boat.
Okay.
And PPP Muhammadu Njai.
Yes.
Hot pink, a crossed axe and hoe.
Yeah.
Symbol and
so
GPDP, Henry Gomez.
Yeah.
Orange. 2 elephants.
2 elephants. Wow.
GMC, my Ahmad Fati, red, and then 8 white stars in circle form.
Wow, interesting.
That's the symbol. GDC, Mama Kande, purple. Open calabash in two parts.
Wow. Okay.
Gap, Musa Yali Bachili. They have silver.
Recently they said
I'm coming.
you
silver, and then they have the River Gambia as their symbol.
Wow. No mistake about it.
CA, Citizen Alliance, Dominic Mendy. They have dark blue with white stripes horizontally.
Okay.
And then a baobab tree.
Wow.
NPP, National People's Party, Adama Barrow. Dark grey, they have a white horse.
And a white horse.
You know.
So you have white animals are very popular.
GFA, Gambia for All, you have Bakari Bidabo. Light blue, you know, top three quarters, and then gold, one blue. So it's diagonal. So you have the top, you know, the top is light blue, and then you have gold.
That's their flag.
So 2 colors, you know.
Okay.
And then for them, you have a swarm of bees on wings, featured at the top right-hand corner with a corn coop in the middle. Okay, I wish I could bring these symbols here, so that maybe next time, you know, so that next time we will bring them all. Yes. Yeah. So and then all People's Party, you have Gumbo Ali Toure. So sea blue and white. So that you know, we have light blue and gold, and now we have what, you know, starting from CA, we're seeing 2 colors now. Because you see all the primary colors are taken, and all
except black. Except black.
Yeah, black. Yeah.
Why not any party want black?
No, people would want black. I could remember like I think in 2002 I gave one independent candidate from Sali, Kenya. I could remember. He came and then we gave him a black collar, and people started laughing at him, you know, because you know blacks usually is associated with a lot of
bad comments.
Okay. And then for them, like, the symbol is a book, a rice plant, and a stethoscope.
Wow.
So these are some of the symbols, and we're working. You know, we're working, like, as I said, like I know, of course, there was some talk about silver and dark grey. Yeah, because we know silver in our local language is
like
halis.
Halis. Yeah.
So halis is different from domital.
Domital.
Yeah, domital. Sebutu.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the GAP were saying that they think you. Yeah, GAP said they think you have given their color to NPP.
Yeah. No, we know, because we clarified, and then, you know, because the thing is, like, we are very mindful of some of these things. That's why we're asking these people to take 2 colors, even 3 colors, so that at least, you know, like, because people want to be associated with colors, colors and their symbols. Yeah, so not necessarily. But of course, if you talk about some of these, like, all these parties, like, everybody knows, you know, like, because you go, even like, you wear something and go out, you know, to town, and then anything, if you wear green, people say, boy, hana tie. You wear yellow, you know, and they say, boy, hana tie mom, yangi, you know, it's like, people are associated with colors, but I think these colors were here before these parties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that is why sometimes it's even difficult for people like us to dress in certain colors. Yeah, some of us,
appearing.
Yeah, some of us working at the IEC, and, you know, so sometimes it's a challenge. But, you know, these are, you know, things that people just float around, because putting on a color doesn't mean anything. I think it's in the it's in the heart. Just like people ask me sometimes, like, you registered to vote? I say yes. I may not be working for the Electoral Commission all my life. Yeah, I may, you know, so at one point, if there is registration, I have to.
Okay.
But maybe the other thing that people should be even thinking of now is, like, voting, because if you vote, you're taking sides. So that's about neutrality. But that's another topic. That's another topic. But
right.
Joe,
so, I want to cross over to the IPC, the Inter-Party Committee. Joe had outlined 14. Outlined that we have 14 parties. He had already highlighted how they get registered and various. Now, it means that you have 4 new members to add to the inter-party.
Yes.
Let me first ask you, from what he has said, did you see any issues, whether they're consistent or inconsistent, what the objective or aspiration of the inter-party is, for what he has just said?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Uncle Cho did very well in highlighting and clarifying most of these issues. At the Inter-Party Committee, the IPC, we acknowledge that there is multi-party system in the country. That's something we embrace, we welcome. But also saying multi-party, I believe there should be a limit to it. For instance, the more parties we have, it will be very hectic on the IEC in conducting elections and regulating, as well. The issues like we have at the IPC, meeting criteria for registration is one thing, but some of them it's only theoretically. They put it on paper, but practically it's not existing. Like a workshop we attended organized by the Women's Bureau, they visited all political parties. Some political parties, even their national bureaus is not functioning. Okay. They have to meet them at different places. Anytime they go there, the place is locked, which means, accessibility, it's a bit of a problem. And based on the research they did, they concluded only 3 political parties have bureaus in all the regions, and they have a national executive that is functioning.
Bureau, you mean functioning?
Functioning bureaus.
So in other words, some open it just to meet just
exactly
criteria.
Yes. Then after that, practically it doesn't exist. They could identify a place and say this is our bureau, whilst it's not functioning. After that, and there are even political parties that the national executive committee is not even intact. They have many vacancies that people definitely should occupy.
Yeah, they just brought one man and said this man is the head. Joe, in that case, are they obliged to tell you the full details of the executive?
Because they give us the details. I just want to come in here. It's every 2 years that we have these congresses. What he's saying, it may be true. I'm not, because the thing is, in fact, we are about to write to the political parties to tell them that, because the last time it was the CEO and myself went round. So we don't just also want to keep them. We want them to know that this is their responsibility and this is what they should do. Yeah. So what he's saying about the functional bureaus and things like that, we are coming to that.
We're coming to that.
Yeah, we're coming to that, because what is going to happen is before the referendum, in fact, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, because we're looking at registration, we're looking at registration. Yes. So maybe before that, we will have to visit, inspect, and make sure that at least, because as I said, people may just say this is our office. Yeah. And when we leave, the office is
closed. Just to meet your criteria and they go.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let's allow him to continue. Yes, you said some of the issues.
Yes, some of these issues are worrisome. There's no problem people forming political parties registering. But I believe when you form a political party, like he highlighted, you are a government in waiting. And you can't be a government in waiting when you're not functioning throughout the whole country. How are you going to win elections is another question mark. We believe some of these parties are coming based on either individual interests or group interests, especially when the norm of coalition come into play. That if you join coalition parties, the chances are you might, at least permanent set or being in cabinet, etc. So people are not very much focal in as a party winning elections, to be the government of the day. They're not very worrisome in that. And others are forming political parties to tap funds. And like the IEC is putting, trying to make sure that every political party, your source of funding, there are political parties who are saying no to that over their dead body.
They wouldn't. What the regulations say that, Joe?
And I believe we need to open up.
Let's have briefcase parties.
Because according to 2015, you have to give us audited accounts. Now, your audited accounts, we are not, what some of them are saying, but you are not funding us. I said, look, you just pay $1 million for registration, but the elections is taxpayers' money. The elections.
Yeah, it's funded by.
It's funded by government.
The government. Yes.
So you cannot tell us that we're not giving you money. We're giving you free airtime during elections campaign.
On the national
all
media.
that thing is money. The staff and the materials that from registration, the voters' cards and all those things, they are funded by taxpayers' money. So if you tell us that we are not giving you money,
so why do you want to know how they are funded?
Yeah, because there are certain ways that you should not generate funds.
Okay, from outside forces.
Outside, and then we don't know whether it's money laundering, drug money, illicit money, and things like that. And of course, there are certain ways like the incorporated, incorporated bodies and things like that, like parastatals and things like that. They're not part of.
They're not supposed to.
Yeah, they're not part. And then like certain ways that people also generate funds, like for instance, like I can open a phone, a line, toll line, and people call, and when people call, a certain percentage comes to me.
Okay. So you don't want those funds.
These are some of the things that we want to try to, we always try to make the elections better. We want to make the elections better, and then things that were going wrong, we want to make right.
So when they refuse,
we want to make right, and that's why that's why we went on reforms.
Exactly.
Okay, because some laws are there, but the enforcement is not there. So that's why we went round. When we come to he's talking about alliance. But even like the reforms, we've talked about all these things because I always talk. Certain issues people are talking about because that's what their interest is. I know the limitation. In fact, the IEC we have put that thing down because it's always problematic. So we have just put that thing down. In fact, that has like the new constitution has in fact taken care of that to some extent.
Okay,
because in this schedule, they've talked about the 53 constituencies, and then they've talked about 14 constituencies for women and 2 for the disabled. So at least we're talking of 69 now. About that. So yeah, so we've that one has. So that's why we are not even talking much about that. Okay. So maybe we will start talking about it maybe after this electoral cycle. So, but the other things that we're talking about, he's talking about alliance, like he's talking about mergers and things like that. But these are things that have not been even looked at. When we want to talk about, maybe the IPC will, maybe we will have to look at it with the IPC to look at mergers, alliance, even the IPC, because the IPC is just.
You're gonna stop me from joining. How to call it? My party. You're gonna stop GAP making alliance with GFA.
No, like in 2005, certain people made an alliance and they were able to. That from there they lost their seats. And there were by elections.
That is from
So we're looking at some of these things, and then we see like mergers and alliances, whether they are so that they can be taken care of in I know maybe the constitution, but at least the Elections Act, so that at least like it can give them some legal basis and things like that. Because if you look at the laws properly, the provisions on those things are not very clear. Yeah, so at least like to safeguard some of the parties and to safeguard the alliances and mergers. So there has to be provisions in the constitution. These are things that because the reforms are not yet because what happened after reforms, we gave those ones we think they are constitutional, we sent to CRC. The other ones we sent to the Aegis chambers. In fact, what they did was they have also pushed that back to the political parties to look at. So there is. So you see, there is still.
So are you suggesting that there has to be a regulation or some sort of a procedure before two political parties can form alliance?
I think things like that, because they have to. Things like that have to be put, clearly, in the laws, so that at least they can safeguard those ones who may be cross-carpeting. Because as of now, I think that the constitution, if you cross-carpet, you lose.
No. I think they've removed.
No. Because I think it's the new one. I think it is there. But the cross-carpeting. Now what I think what they removed is 91, 93,
like for example,
91D or so. It's like
if your party expelled you.
Yeah, that one they have
lose.
removed. Yeah, that one.
But if you leave from APRC now and said I am UDP now, what will happen? For example,
that is you call it cross carpeting. So in the new one, it is there. They've returned it there.
So what is the new one?
So the new one, something like that. I think the new one. I think. So these are some of the things that it's good. Currently, I think if you resign or you are still a National Assembly member.
If you leave your party, you are independent. You
go
anywhere.
Yeah, still.
But
because
the new one is going to restrict that.
I think so. If I have to check properly but I think
All right, let's quickly finish some of the concerns we are talking about from what he has said. You said there are others who refuse to comply with the directive to supply their funding or account for them.
Exactly, because sometimes people could invest in your party and you make promises, being a government in waiting, like if you become the government of the day, you'll give them contracts, you'll give them this and that. So these are issues we need to look at, because what happens at times, it goes to the detriment, of the civilians themselves. Like let's say I'm a contractor in the Gambia, having all the capabilities of handling such a contract, but somebody has been financing you overseas or even within. So it means an agreement was there prior to you coming into government. It must go to them, whether it is right or wrong. You'll do everything it takes to defend such issues. It's just like when the issue of SEMLEX came, it was very complicated. At the end of the day, it's not like there were not companies in the country who could do so, but they were trying angles like, okay, the former government, this and that. But as a present government, I believe there were a lot of regulations they could have done, in a sense that all our databases and the information we'll have will end up in foreigners. They could use that to make millions. People who know IT, how it functions, will tell you about that.
So that's why it's good for them to supply the details to Joe.
Exactly. This I believe. There's no problem. Even as an opposition, you have a lot of funds, running projects and the like, but IEC have to know. For instance, funds are very key and they're very essential. There are certain political parties today, they're doing a lot, even as an opposition. If you ask them, where are you getting this fund? They tell you, mind your business.
That's not your business.
Because if you look at them internally, what do they have in order to embark on all those projects?
Some are out just to raise money.
Exactly.
What do you mean, and how can they do this?
They tap funds from other organizations, like as a political party.
Who might be interested in something else.
As simple as that. And all this they themselves know that they cannot win elections because the support base is not there. Even when they call for meeting and rallies, you just see hundreds of people. So when are you gonna be the government of the day? And I believe IEC should look at certain political parties. They put a percentage. Like when you contest for elections, if you don't have certain percentage, then we'll deregister you. That would make political parties to look into issues and work harder. Most of these regulations, they will respect it to know that if you don't meet this criteria, we are going down to zero. So they will not just take it lying down. So these I would want the IEC to improve on that.
And they will criticize the IEC of trying to interfere with who qualifies to be.
Yes, you see, one thing, we don't make laws, we work with laws. So that's why.
But they can come up with these recommendations.
With the reforms, he knows what happened with the reforms. We wrote to all stakeholders and we went to region by region, consulting people as to what he's saying, because certain suggestions came up that if you cannot contest for 1 or 2 elections, I think. So these are some of the things.
Like if you are just lying down, you cannot.
So these are some of the suggestions that came up when we went around, to talk to the people about the reforms. Because basically the reforms were in six areas. Because we first talked about the demarcation, which was very, very, very thorny issue, very controversial. So if you want to go,
and you always talk with the party.
We invited the parties. All the parties were represented, even at the validation. In fact, all that we are talking about, even the much talks about migration from ballot paper to ballot drum to
ballot paper.
It was at the validation. Almost everybody was there, so we endorsed what we said with vigorous voter education, so that people will understand. You see, let me just come. You see, with the new constitution, you see, it has vindicated us because it's talking of presidential elections and National Assembly on the same day. On the same day.
Which used to happen before.
On the same day. And then it is also talking about these 14 women. 14 women election. It's going to be on the same day. So you think you're talking of 3 elections in one day. 3 elections, and then we'll do a separate election for the disabled. So you see, if you have what 3, because I always tell people, look, let us look at it. Like we are not seeing the marble has anything. The marble has no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, but with the history of this country, even from the First Republic, the voter population was not much.
Yes.
So they were able to do, and then the parties were not much.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
It was PPP.
But now you have a lot.
You have PPP, NCP mostly. PPP, NCP.
Yeah.
And then we had
and
we had
Dodou,
GPP, and then Dodou came out.
So
the most candidates you had, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Even here now, the most candidates we have for presidential election is 5.
Yeah.
So we could, even if we have 10,000, okay, 10 million voters, you have 5 candidates.
But
you don't
yes,
have
so the
a problem.
logistics.
You have only 5 drums per polling station.
Exactly.
Now, if I told you double that, you're just going to have 10 drums, something like that, per polling station. Now, for instance, we're talking of what? Now, with this democratic
for example,
dispensation,
we have 14 presidential candidates.
you have 14. Okay, we have this, and then let us not forget that there is what? There is still provision for independent candidates. That is what people are not even looking at.
And
because it's still in the law. Even in the new one, it is there.
So that's
in the constitution is there. So instead of me paying 1 million to register a political party, I can just wait for presidential election. I just pay my $10,000 for what? For deposit. Yes, I become a candidate. So right now we have 14, because I know people will not form political parties just for the sake of political parties. They're not going to vie for presidency. You understand? Because we expect all the political parties maybe by the end of 2020 to go on their congress. So by then we will know exactly. And for us, because of the way the electoral law is, we have to come up with an elections calendar by December. So everybody will know when the elections are coming. When the election is. So that's that. So for instance, now we have 14, and then we have about 3 or 4 candidates. No, 3 or 4 waiting. I'm just giving by the end, maybe by the end of 2020 we may have about 20 political
candidates,
20 political parties. Now you have 20. That's already okay. We assume that
already should they all put up a candidate?
So that's 20. Now you're not talking of the independent candidates.
10 people can do it.
20. Okay. Then you have what?
Parliamentary would be even more chaotic.
Parliamentary. Okay. Now, for instance, you look at what? For instance, like on 3 elections. So let's just say 20 candidates, and then 20 candidates. So you have 60 ballot drums.
60 ballot drums to make.
60 ballot drums. Which polling station are you going to put? So we are talking of logistical. Yeah, logistics and things like that.
But the argument is, everybody makes sense of what you are saying. That there are more logistics to counter with the advent of more political parties and more people joining politics as opposed to the past. But then the problem they have is, if you give them the devil they knew, they will stick with the marble, because for many years this is what they understand. If you bring paper now, which to you is very simple because you only have photographs to identify. You have only one
photographs and symbols.
Symbols. You have only one box here.
Yes.
Only one box.
Yeah.
You voter come, I said, okay, choose between these things, which one you take, the one you want, and go and put it in one box. It makes your job simpler. But then how many people will understand that before the next election?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Like by next month we're starting with the voter education. You see, the thing is, I can understand.
So
let me just give it.
Now that it's final.
No. Listen. That's the thinking of the commission. That's the thinking of the commission. I'm not going. Yes, and then listen, and then we've consulted, and then he will come to that. Okay. You see, the thing is, like, even you go to primary school election, it is paper ballot these kids use to vote for their head boys and head girls. We go to, maybe next week we go to KMC. They've invited us. I don't know, it's their association. I don't know, workers. You go to these women's groups. When disabled, everybody. University. I'm reading law right now at the university. We use what? Our SU elections, we use what? We use paper ballot, and then a lot of. You see, the thing is, I take examples. Sometimes it is us, the so-called people who went to school, who make noise, who make the mistakes. Because, for instance, like, I give you a ballot paper. I went to a particular country. Like, you see, instead of thumbprinting or ticking, people will write, "I love you." they would just write against their candidate, "I love you." So somebody like me who has not gone to school will not do that.
Yes.
Huh? You are the man. You know, I'm just giving an example. Listen, you see, Lamin.
Does that mean that the man under whose name that is written is the one of their choice?
No, it's wrong. That's not the way to do it.
So they have to block it off. And
yeah, when they say tick, you have to.
You have to tick
if
or
you don't
thumbprint.
You've lost that.
You know, there are two different ways. There are many ways of it. Like the Senegalese style, you have what each candidate with their own paper. So you take the one that you're voting for.
And then put that in the ballot.
Yeah, but
you know, tick.
Yeah, for us, it's like if at all it's 20. Like in Nigeria, they had about what 75, something like that. So yeah, so it's just.
How transparent is that? If you tick, who's there not to mark? Who's going to count? All the agents will be there to see which one is.
Yes, because what is going to happen is, for instance,
that can be.
No, it's not. That's how it is done. Liberia and the others, we've observed elections. They do sometimes 6 elections in one day, and they're done with it. Because what each with their own ballot, the ballot paper, presidential, different color. With the thing is, you just tick and then fold and put. Because for instance, when it's the same process. It's counting on the spot. It's everything. Because opening of polls is the same thing.
So it means that the electoral officer will have
what I'm going to give.
Million or so of this.
Yeah, because
depending on the amount of voters in that constituency.
Yeah, so you come, it's just like the polling agents will be there for all the parties.
You just tick.
So you come when they say, okay, SO2 money, they look at your number, and then the polling agents will also tick because they know exactly.
Right. So
at the end of the day, they're going to count, like the ballots. They're going to count before opening. And then after opening. So like the difference will be.
So when they give you a ballot, when you are ticking, you are the only one.
Yes, you go to a cubicle
and tick
and
bring it back.
Yeah, you bring it, and then you will see. a whole box.
Right.
Everybody will look at you.
I see. And then
you
you fold it. They would have seen you vote because everybody votes on the same thing. But nobody would know whom you tick.
No, because it has a cubicle. Because they give you. You go to a cubicle, and then even we will not have problems with. Even the blind, the ones who go to school, they have something like tactile.
The braille or say
Braille, yeah. So they'll know exactly the.
Or they could accompany somebody and say, "I want to."
Yeah, because for them, those ones who are lettered, they can just use braille because they will have special ballot paper. You call it tactile.
But then is this going to raise another logistic that you are running away from the
No, it's not logistic because election is all about inclusivity. Inclusiveness. That is why election, that is why we're talking about inclusiveness. Election, you want to make sure that everybody, all the eligible ones, are supposed
what were your concerns of the inter-party about this new system they want to introduce? What were the main concerns?
The concerns were numerous, and most political parties looking into it, they're not embracing it. Like he has highlighted, knowing IT, ballot paper has different formats. He's giving examples of a format we're going to use. But as he has just highlighted, there will be no more secret balloting. If you tick, the polling agents are there for them to see which one you have ticked.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
What he's trying to say,
secret ballot is
that when you arrive, like everybody now say every candidate or every ballot go to one box, which is right in the middle of everybody.
Yes.
But when you are given a ballot to choose from the candidates,
there's a cubicle.
You go into a cubicle with you alone.
Yes.
Then you tick Lamin Cham
and
fold it. You come, everybody will see you voting, but they won't know which one because every vote go to the same ballot.
Yes.
So
what I'm trying to put here, some people might take the wrong candidate. Others might not be even, we're talking about illiteracy here, especially.
But if you go with a marble and place it on top of it and without print, let's count for your own mistake. That doesn't count.
Yes, but looking at the history of that, how many invalid votes do we normally have? Like he talked about at the university, they're using, they've tried the ballot paper. But even with that, there are invalid votes. At university level, if you look at that. I believe, like he said earlier, these coming elections would be too soon because we definitely need to. We're talking about the whole Gambia. Now, if you talk about a particular school conducting elections, it's just that school. But here, the Gambia as a whole is at the bigger scale. And the people is not just you talk to them once. I believe this has to take time. And locally, they should practically be doing it. And observation should be done to make sure they will be guided through this process. Not once, but on numerous occasions, until people get used to it. Because elections are sensitive.
No. What we are doing now, we'll be starting with pilot project for 3 months. Starting maybe we should have started this month, but maybe towards the end of the month. Listen, no, we will go. We will practically. No, we will go. We will do these things. We will go to the bandabas. We will go to the schools. What I'm trying to say is like, let us not try to take, you see, there is a difference between being literate and being aware. So there is a difference between awareness and going to school. Let me just come. Let me just come, Lami. Let me learn. There's a difference. People don't go to school and they are not aware. Look, you go to the remotest villages. Our old ladies, our aunties and our grannies, they're using WhatsApp. They're using WhatsApp and they're into social media. And who taught? Listen,
simple steps.
This is just simple because they know whose picture. If you send them a picture, they'll know that this is a picture of this guy, and they send voices and things like that. What we are saying is, let us not try to complicate matters, because if we want to make things complicated, they're going to. If you see them as complicated, because we are not the dumbest. Look, we have just seen countries like Guinea-Bissau. They just did, and they have diaspora voting also. We're also looking at diaspora voting and things like that.
It's recommended.
Yeah, these are you understand. So you don't expect us to take ballot drums and things like that to England or to China.
You buy one. You buy.
I'm just giving an example. You see, I'm just giving. So you see, when we are trying to talk, we're thinking progressively, and then we want to bring everybody along. Because for me, like. Because everything is just education. Everything is education. I'm just giving. Is it like, let's just put ourselves into, because we organize elections, but we don't organize it for in a vacuum. It's for the people.
Yeah, Joe,
you understand? It's for the people.
But when you recognize the political parties as the main stakeholders, and they are telling you that this is too soon, would you still sidestep them and go to the people and ask them?
We didn't, because what happened is, I don't know whether he was at the Valley. What I'm trying to say, even though people had their reservations, but at the validation, it was endorsed, and then a condition was attached to it,
which is voter education.
Which is serious voter education.
Yes.
And we are definitely.
And you think it's not too late before the next election to accomplish?
No, because we have
comprehensive voter education.
No. We have almost
23
about
months.
About it. So I think we can, because there are a lot of things that we are trying to do, and then we also don't try to. We don't also want to confuse voters with a lot of information. Because right now, we've talked about we've talked about those things, and then we've talked about these things. Voter education will come. We are still engaging with the IPC and with the Ministry of Justice. So I know we will come to a consensus at the end of the day. Once we start sort of implementing the programs, we will know exactly what will happen. For me, I think we have far more other things that to grapple with than even this
issue.
Yes, because we have a lot of issues. Now we've talked about, as is rightly said, we've talked about registration, which was a very topical issue. Now we have problems with attestations, but that thing didn't go down well with people. Because he is here, we have problems with attestations because we cannot understand.
What's the
attestation is to be registered.
Yeah.
You have to produce.
They said you have to have an ID card, and that was enough.
ID card, passport,
birth certificate,
or attestation by an alcalo or a chief.
One of these four.
So we talked about this. You see, you remember, we've been having issues with registration. In 2001, in the midst of the registration, the law was changed. The law, because those days we had the powers, even if you come with a voter's card, even if you come with a passport, if you are not, I'll reject you.
Yes.
So that one was changed,
so
and
it's
still,
So and it's still
the law, those still prevail. Those
So
laws still
the
prevail.
electoral officers
So
have
when
no
we
say
went,
as to who is
yeah,
qualified.
because once you come with a document, we just register.
You want that change?
So we want it because that one we told them, even with the attestation, even if they don't want to change the attestation, because it was also controversial, because certain stakeholders, said no. Don't we trust them to give out these things? You remember?
Yes.
Yeah. So
they live with.
they say that because they know them. So I say okay. Yeah. So but what we are trying to say is give us back the powers of interviewing and give us the powers of if you are not sure, we can reject you and then you go to the revising court. You can go to church and challenge. Yeah, these are some of the things that and I think we will have to push these things because because the thinking. Yeah, because and the other thing that also we are trying to talk about is because in 2015 deletion was just moved out, no deletion, and then no transfer. Because transfer was being abused. Let's stop, because like there used to be a lot of unopposed constituencies, and what used to happen is people used to be ferried from one corner of the country to the other to challenge it, and then like it was abused. So there and then, in fact, so we said let's just try to do a. But sometimes we know, we know that it has also it's also not fair for people. For instance, in 2011, I was posted in Basse to supervise the elections, to supervise the registration. So being in Basse for 44 working days meant that I couldn't come. So if I register in Basse during the presidential, they can allow me to vote. But for the parliamentary, I will not be able to vote. I have to go back to Basse. But how can I leave IEC work to organize elections and go? I'm just giving myself as an example, and so a lot of civil servants fall into that category. And of course, with the deletions, it cannot give you an accurate register. Because from 2011 to now, a lot of people passed away. So now we still say that we have about 886,000 registered voters, which we know is not the correct figure because a lot of people have died. So these are some of the things that we were. So these are some of the things that we are trying to say. Like when we went around, we say, look, let's try to bring them back into the law so that we can have an up-to-date and accurate. And then we also talked about continuous registration. Continuous registration in the sense that
not a specific time, but every year.
Yeah, maybe every year we open, like even in the year we can open 2 or 3. So once you are 18, you just move.
You just go.
We just in
so
consultation
with the police. Have a general registration.
Yeah, we don't have. We will have one general.
And there wouldn't be too much.
Yeah, and then that is why. In fact, that is why we are thinking of now. Because like we should have the thinking is to have a supplementary.
That's what people want to know.
To have a supplementary before the referendum.
Yes.
And then after that, because the register will be maybe around 10 years, so we squash this thing and then have a general. We say no, because it's the same. Is the government that funds it. So instead of having supplementary and then disregarding all that, why not we have a general registration of voters? We have a general registration of voters for everybody.
This year. 2020.
Yeah, maybe in a couple of months. So we are still working at the possibility. In fact, we are looking at we are almost done with our budget.
And this means everybody who is holding and
everybody,
who might
everybody. Yes, everybody. We do it since the spirit in the new constitution is continuous voter registration. So after the referendum,
you can have one.
After the referendum, we can concentrate on the diaspora.
Okay.
Diaspora registration, and then the continuous. So we'll have registration to capture those who will be 18 by December 2021. You see, so these are the things that are lined up. Because like, why we want to do the registration? Because the referendum, if you look at section 226 of the Constitution, it tells you exactly how it is done. It gives you the threshold. 50% of the registered voters should vote. So for instance, now we have 886. If we go by that, so at least half of those people should vote.
In the before the referendum result can be valid.
Yes, can be valid. And then for the yes vote to go through,
that 75%.
Yes, 75% of the 50% should say yes. So that's a high. So that is why we said let's try to regularize, to update the register, so that everybody will have an opportunity to vote. So that at the end of the day, nobody will say, I didn't vote. I didn't have the chance because from 2006, the last register was done in 2016. So we know that a lot of people have, like the kids have
turned 18.
They have turned 18.
Yeah. For example,
and a lot of people have returned to the Gambia. They have returned to the Gambia.
Migrants.
And a lot of people, maybe their cards were lost, and maybe some people were even in the country and they were not even interested in it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they were not. So those people.
You are really strongly suggesting that there will be one general registration.
Yeah, we want. That is what we are thinking. That's what we want.
When do you expect the referendum on this new constitution? Or are you still waiting for the?
Because I know that the final is not submitted yet.
So you don't know when will it?
But I know before the end of the year, maybe. That's the thinking. That's the thinking.
So
because
you expect
because it has to go to the president and then to the National
Assembly.
Then it is sent to us within six months to conduct. Okay. So I think, like, if you look at section 226, it gives you some procedure.
So would you be able to start and finish the registration of voters before you?
Yes, we can do, because you do the registration, because Dodou is an IT guy. You do the registration because this is biometric, so you have to also do matching.
Okay.
Yeah, because matching takes time. Because depending on, if at all you register 1 million people, so my register will have to be matched against all the others to see whether there is double registration or no. So it takes time because you have
duplicates.
Yes, so you have one. So you have the field, because you have to start with, of course, with the procurement and all those things, and then you have to do when the gadgets come, you have to do the initialization. You have to initialize, because you have users, you have support users, and then you have the registration officers. So each one has powers.
So you're
level
expecting
of powers.
that it will take 3 to 4 months to do this?
About that. So we are in the planning stage, and we are very far in the planning stage. But
first, like you said, you highlighted, you still haven't got how to call it, a guideline as to who will qualify as a voter. You make that decision to be made by you instead of
no. What we are trying to say, we're working with IPC and in fact, I think there should be a meeting between the three of us, not so IGP, AG's Commission and the political parties, for us to come to a consensus. So the thing is, whatever happens is, these are things that we want to push. I mean, with the register, so that at least it gives us a clue. Otherwise, as I always tell people, we work with the existing laws. In the absence of, that's the fear. In the absence of these things, because you see, the referendum, it's very important that people go to the referendum and then people vote. People vote. So we have to make sure that at least these activities really covered, and then we move. So that is why, like, we're going, like, anywhere I'm invited, I tell, because the other day we had chairman with this, because there was a state of the nation, and then he mentioned the programs, the registration, referendum, another registration for the diaspora, and then we're working all this. So we have all these programs.
You have a crowded.
We have a crowded program.
And you don't have time because, for example, you need to organize a registration of voters, and you need to have a voter education on this proposed introduction of new way of voting before the referendum.
So we have all these time. We have IRI with IFS. I hope they will. I mean, we are just almost. We finalized everything, because my implementation program, because, like, I'm the head of communications, of course, the head of voter education, but we have regional offices. So they've all sent me their programs. So they'll be going to schools, they'll be going to, and then we also partner. We also partner. Right now, we're working with UNDP to try to formulate a program. Wherein even if IPC, I know they met with, we are at the formulation stage. So we have everybody, NCCE, we have the youth, we have women, and then we have, even musicians. I get musicians to help me.
And then the in the IPC,
even the political parties.
All right.
You see, in as much as they canvass for votes,
They can also educate the voters.
Yes, it's paramount, because they have campaign ethics, the code of campaign ethics. So for peace and all those things, and then they also have to tell the people what to do, how to vote, because they want. Listen, they want.
Or UDPs. The problem with them doing it is that instead of you who will tell the people you can choose from this list, Mr. X or X, they will say, just choose Fawakari Tamba. And then people say, just don't worry about it, just choose Lawyer Dam.
Yeah, but now it's educating the people how to vote. They will it's not, it's sort of, it's a holistic, because that's why we said election is the business of everybody. If you look at section 2, power. Okay. It's from the people. It's from the people, and they cannot. They are I don't know. They are our stakeholders. Apart from the political, the voters. I think the voters are the best constituency because they are part of the. Even they are political parties.
But at your level, you will make it very easy. The job of the IEC is very easy if all the parties, as is in your committee, agreed to a suggestion or a modus operandi. But what about if you parties don't agree with methods among yourself? How do you then expect the IEC to do that when you cannot agree, for example, about a method of voting or about a method of who qualifies to vote?
That would be very difficult. But
for example,
again,
what is your position on what he said, that the electoral officer, the IEC, have the powers back to determine a claimant instead of just anybody who turn up with an ID card?
Yes, that
we're just screening. We just want to
we're not saying no to that, but I believe sensitization has to be done. If you look at currently, since SEMLEX came into being, people have the notion, others are spreading this information, that if you don't have the national ID card, you cannot have the voter's card, which is not factual. The law doesn't say that.
No, the law does not say that. You see, this is why we're coming up. We're coming up because I go to
many Gambians have this belief. I always tell them that is not it.
Why there was a huge demand and a huge rush and a lot of boarding on the IEC.
Yeah, exactly. DHK, I don't know, because there are a lot of radio stations now. They always invite me, and I go there and then I tell people, and it's also part of our strategy now.
They say you don't have the new one.
Yes,
but the laws don't say that.
Exactly.
The laws don't say that, because the law says ID card, birth certificate,
or
passport or
attestation. Yes, any one of these.
So when an election
so if people say that
of any one of these,
yes,
you can get registered.
Yeah,
exactly.
See, what we are trying to say is, because I always argue with people, because people will say, Mr. Colley, you have non-Gambians on the register. I tell them no. That is a wrong notion, because if you tell me non-Gambian, how did they get these documents to come on register? So for me, anybody who is registered is Gambian. But what we are saying is, even if you come, give us back our powers. Even if you come with these things, because the laws are there. We have revising courts. So if we are not sure, because for instance, I just give you an example. In 2001, what happened? We went to one village, and a gentleman came to register. And then we asked a simple question. Ngane Gambian ga? He said yes. Ban halis lenje use Gambia. The person didn't know. I'm not telling lies. It's factual.
I know
the person didn't know the currency that we use in Gambia, and you are almost 30 years. It's unfortunate.
It couldn't happen.
You understand? I know we all know the porous, the way our borders are porous. We are not the only persons claiming. Even in Nigeria, I was there. I was there as an LTO, and we went to, I was in Liberia. You go to Sierra Leone because of Guinea. So we have borders like that. So people always talk of these things, cross border and things like that. And then we all know, like we have laws on registration, we have laws on naturalization. So like the civic education or the other areas should try to. Because some people may stay in the Gambia for 30, 40 years. They think that they are Gambian. They are not Gambian. They are not Gambian. You see, these are some of the things that we want to say. We have to try to make sure that we educate people, and then we try. We are not saying that because I always argue, because once somebody has this document, then it's presumed to be Gambian. But what we are saying is, even whereas they have this document, give us the opportunity
to be able to
access and then to be able to screen.
Exactly.
You know, because even if you go to immigration, they screen you. They screen you before they give you these ID cards and passports and things like that. If myself, I went to immigration, I had an emergency to travel to Senegal. So I went there, even with all my documents, and I told them, look, I work for IEC. And then I went, they questioned me, you know, who is the Alcalo? I told them, look, my people, like we were from Old Joshua, because anybody who knows New Joshua history, we are from
Old Joshua.
All of our parents were born in Old Joshua. After the Second World War, they migrated to New Joshua. So when and then they say, okay, no, now you know the history. Who's your dad and who's that? So and they have to screen me before they granted me, you know. So anybody goes that. So that is why we are saying, because the voters card, we use it, you know, to elect our president, the highest office, you know, the National Assembly, you know, and then our local authorities, you know, at least give us back the powers to at least to be able to scrutinize. We are not saying that we are just going, because you cannot just reject people by just looking at the person or by his surname or something like that. No, because in Africa, you know, in Africa we know about it, because you know, like the Mali Empire, Songhai Empire, there is a lot of migration. You know, people come from Kabu and all those things, you know. So, you know, there's a lot of migration. So if you want to look at some of these things, you know, sometimes you may, just by looking at, because I'm Colley, so I'm Colley, so what? So because I'm Colley, shouldn't I be a Gambia or something like that? So, you know, these are some of the things. So you cannot base certain things, but at least, like, let us try to make the laws a bit more.
At this stage, you need a law in Parliament to be able to get back that power, isn't it?
Yes, we need that. But I'm trying to say, if by the time, I always tell people, by the time maybe this registration is done, because definitely we don't want to go to the registration in the rains.
So you want to do it before?
Yeah, we want to do it maybe. That the field registration will not be done in the range, but the others, because he knows there has to be adjudication, there has to be correction, and all those things. All those things can move on
before this current range.
Yeah. Before this current range.
All right, now let's talk about. You said you work with the existing laws where the old envisaged laws are not in place. One thing that's come to mind, in fact, as recent as a few days ago, I saw question being raised in some quarters in some newspapers, saying, what will happen to the people? Let me ask you, what is the state of the Nyamina West, I guess, where we lost, sadly we lost one of the National Assembly members, and your office expected to conduct elections in 90 days. What is the state of that? And then there was a question, who will be voting for that? Would it be the people in the existing register there?
Of course.
Because you cannot have...
We cannot have registration, so it's the people, and just to inform the people that the office of the clerk has written to us, so they formally informed us. So within, that, you know, that one also has been added to us. So within 90 days you'll be able to, according to section 84.
Would you be adventurous enough to introduce a rehearsal of this paper ballot in that one?
We have not talked about that yet. We have not talked about that yet. Yeah, but that's a simple.
That's a small constituency. You can start with that, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe we will look at it and then see, because I think
90 days, say 30 days.
Yeah, there's a by-election in 2015 wherein we reintroduced the counting on the spot. I could remember. Is it in Balanga? Was it? Yeah. I could remember. Yeah.
That was before the main one.
Yeah, that was before the 2016, and I think NRP won that.
So why wouldn't you try this ballot? But with Nyamina West, because that's one constituency.
Yeah, one constituency. Yeah. That's food for thought. That's food for thought. Yeah. So that's
okay.
Food for thought.
Finally,
do I have a question?
No. We haven't got where there are too many people suggesting. You read that online, perhaps, and you yourself.
Unfortunately, if I'm on Facebook, I don't think I am. But my guys are monitoring, and it's
of course.
Yeah. My guys are monitoring.
Mr. Jah, from what he has covered, the last one being, of course, the by-election coming, the inter-party committee. I know this is one area where you all have to take your own individual parts, but He said they have to work with the existing register because there cannot be no voting, registration.
New register.
Yeah, what do you make of that? Well, how do you receive that in the inter-party?
Yeah, it has to be that way. You cannot create something new that will create chaos, especially looking at the duration, the time span here. We cannot inculcate something that is new. We have to go by with what already exists. Yeah, that we can't have doubt for that.
You know, the law is within 90 days.
Yes, 90 days. Nothing more than that.
You look at it, you know, like in as much as we have laws, sometimes we have to be we have to be careful. Like, you know, like there are two main, you know, apart from the traditionalists, we have Islam and Christianity. So we have what? We have the Christians will soon enter their Lenten period from the 26th February, so to 12th, and then I know April,
May.
Yeah, around May or April. So we have to know exactly where to peg, you know, where to peg the program, yeah, so that it will not disturb a lot of people. Yeah, because people moving around, because some people maybe by the 12th, you know, like from the 5th down to the 12th, Christians will be very busy there during their holy weeks. Yeah. Then but I'm sure we will thereabout in between. Maybe I know it should be in April. Yeah, we'll try to do it before April. So we're trying to see maybe by next week or so the notice will be out, because we're working on the modalities. The notice will be out. They will gazette the returning officer, and the dates will be announced for nomination. So people will get prepared. I know people are already, because like I always tell people, because I went on one media, they were telling me, how comes, you know, like every political party has an activity every week. I say, for me, it's better than waiting till elections. You start, because we don't want. I always tell people, we don't want briefcase political parties. we want political parties that are vibrant, to sell their programs. I said, look, if I am selling, and you know, one fuller man was the panelist, because I was selling, I like food, so I was selling, like, if you bring me mburo butter and somebody else brings me mburo nyege and somebody mburo salad and the other one gives me mburo sardine and things like that, so it's the merrier for me. So I have what? I have choice. Huh? So at least people should political parties sell their programs throughout. You know, it makes the body politic very interesting. Yeah.
Finally, for both you in the party and yourself, many people suggest that, okay, why don't we give the IEC these powers of processing and approving campaign permits instead of the police and security? Like, they just inform the security to provide, but the decision to provide it or to approve it can rest with the IEC. They said these can really prevent foul play. For example, if the government in power actually is afraid, or perhaps is trying to disrupt opposition parties from this, they can ask the IGP or the security unit, no, don't give them permit, etc. Is it possible, or does it make any sense for the IEC to be given such authority? Many people will ask. They keep asking.
Yeah, for me, there's a possibility, and it's sensitive enough, it's sensible enough. It all depends with sitting with the IGP. Because at times for them, they think like you taking authority from them. I would not see it as that. I would see it as working with each other. And especially when it comes to politics, the political parties are more ascended to the IEC than the IGP. Yeah, so definitely for me, it's something to be looked at. And I think there could be a possibility.
So will that be asking for too much on your side?
No, because like during elections
timetables are created for schedules and the like.
Yeah, it will, but you know, like they will always talk about security. They will, because we are not experts in things like that. But nonetheless, what we do is like Dodou will attest to that. What we tell political parties is, whenever they request, let them copy us. So for a long time, I don't think people have been. I cannot remember when a political party
very
has
near denial or the very late,
Yeah, because there's always because chairman usually will always call.
But do you have any influence if the police deny it?
Yeah, sometimes chairman will ask them. That is why whatever happens now is when we write, when we register political parties, we write to IPC and the political parties, informing, and then we write IGP, telling them that look, this is a political party, and they should be they should be accorded with all the the provisions of.
But why do you think concentrating these powers alone on the IEC alone instead of the IEC, instead of the IGP?
I don't know. This is a constitutional matter. Public Order Act is constitutional, so I don't think I have any more comment to do that. But at least it will be, because when we went around, we talked to the people about it, and it's one of some of the reforms that we're looking into to see, whether we will. But like most of the time they will talk about security. So, and we are not experts.
The government will always hide behind security.
Yeah, they will tell us security. So we're not experts in that. So we cannot say anything about that. But as of now, since it's a constitutional matter, but yet still we will see, because people should see that there is a market improvement. Because those days, people are like political party, but now you can see virtually every week. People have activities. People have activities. Yeah, I think like the other thing is like I know there's a launching today.
Yes.
There's a launching for a political party today, and then people have been accorded permits, and so I'm sure it's and then we're working, because this is what we want. We don't want any restrictions. We want people to be given, because like. We have barely one and a half years to the next election. So, and then there are a lot of activities which will involve political activity, because of course when we talk of registration, when you talk of referendum, so it means like there is no, the floodgates have been opened, because there has to be political activity,
Right.
Yeah.
We have to thank you, Joe Colley, the Director of Training and Administration at the Independent Electoral Commission, Dodou Jah, who today is putting on a cap for a member of the Inter-Party Committee. He's also, of course, the Deputy Spokesman for the APRC. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming here to enlighten us on your program. I'm Joe. I'm sure we're going to have
yes.
Once again, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
Well, that's about it in the brunch this week. We hope you really learn a thing or two about our electoral system and the coming programs, whether you are a politician, a would-be already existing one, would-be one, aspiring one, or a voter. So on behalf of everybody, I thank you very much and see you next week.
ñëw ak yéen rek skincare plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star jesna la 5 star jesna mooy jesna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la. We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus does come in so many different ways.
No, ini bara.
Alright, okay.
Welcome.
Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax.
What the madam?
Yeah, that's
what the madam?
Yeah.
Let them do something.
That's fine.
Grand Villa.
Grand Villa.
That's fine.
Slowly. Yes. No.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone very relaxed. So it's always something that I can understand. It's very relaxed.
Nothing needs to what? Media, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji and the Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungol bebe senyaring adum na bungol bebe nyarandiring coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wala mukangotin telkang na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise.
I know.
I so much love this place.
Thank you.
Trust me, I love this place.
You can move someone and you're watching what?
Yeah.
How can you and know what Gambia con? Grand Villa.
I tell you. I love this place. Okay. I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni leftan na kuo keso sotola futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate mbaya komandiro ke 7527218 wale futana website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Busubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
yara ñilla domoro ka diatel
boy janno CK's restaurant
sa nakko be ni na dimbal nimbe domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendin lon dunia kono domoro betama nyillom international o toda number 1
amanke ba domoro jandama
e sa domo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa nakko sa futandin
oto sa nakko be mu CK's restaurant
ndama nan janna mu yat ni manje dorom bijam
aban
CK's restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda mimba Europe Mr. Conte nka bo kol kan sai na so ko na mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai nka bo kol kan da ka ba office ko na badama bulo mutarin baka ta sintilano ko mbatu ngane ta ya kuriye ma ko dubanti na ta mano sani tulo ni jam munda bete la broda man balwo service kala mun service balwo service ni da foronte mo kala munda afela broda ko abitala internet all aya ba site la woldo balwo.com na wo sajje a apu nga ba download la telephone lo na be sandiro to ni wal na be sidin ala office ko ndama manjar pura ta bank ko kodoki abe sidin office ko da minto e do message so telephone ko no e bitiko be Gambia dawda bitiko ba belo ko ta tano dawda yeta tempo tawo wodama yala bari wa service na kamol da han atanyo le kan pija na bro dan ka ko ayo ko ti da
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kolaya ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale domor feŋol sang alla dimbaya molu ana lakkanun tewol wato bela ani wat sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu e be banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko ku ko tan soro balwo service la kolto ali commandi telephone line la milbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kulu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.